G'day fellas, today we are doing a video where we are going to decide which is the worst and which is the best race in the Forge. Now I will just say everyone will have a different opinion on what a good and a bad race is, but this is what I think though, backed by science. You know, we did a whole scientific study on my brain, and I think I've actually finally figured out what the best class is and what the worst one is. But anyways, let's go start with the human race. You see that little fella? Now this is the race that everyone starts with, alright? This is like the, the default race. You can't really do anything about it unless you have some re-rolls, which you start with. But overall I feel like the human race is a pretty solid pick. I wouldn't put it in D, all right? I feel like D is like really bad. Okay, now I don't know, I'm hovering around C or B. I mean, actually no, I won't actually say that human is a B. I feel like that is kind of criminal. I'm gonna say I don't know, because you do get a 3% luck and you get a 3% experience. I mean, that's not really a lot though. Nah, I'm putting you in D. I'm sorry, buddy. We are now moving up to the next race, and that is the elf. Now, okay, with the elf, I feel like the elf overall is a pretty solid choice. You get 7% luck, 15% stamina, and 5% height. I mean, that's pretty good. I don't know about the height though, right? So here is my little theory, okay? I feel like height isn't really a good thing to have in the game. I don't know. I mean, why do you need to be taller? I feel like that's kind of a bad thing. Like, I won't go into all of it, but I feel like you would have a bigger hitbox, which means I feel like the enemies will be able to hit you more. So I will deduct a few points for that, all right? I'm sorry, elf, you can't control your height, but then again, mate, you're gonna have to control it somehow, because I feel like a 5% increase is pretty bad, all right? But then again, the 15% stamina is a solid thing. I do find that I'm running out of stamina quite a lot, and the 7% luck overall is, it's actually pretty good. So I feel like I'm gonna put bro in maybe B or C, because no, I'll put bro in B, all right? Elf will be in B, but I'm hovering between. I don't know. We'll leave elf and B for now, okay? Now I might do a few little changes here and there, but we'll have to see. Now the zombie. Oh mate, don't get me started on this abomination. Mate, when I unlocked the zombie, I think it was my first ever reroll, I was mortified, alright? This guy looks absolutely cooked, mate. He's barely hanging on, alright? His limbs are about to fall off. He's just a mess, alright? Anyways, we won't talk about the appearance that much. We're trying to talk about the quality and the details of the actual race. So you do have a perk called Mutated Genes, and you gain 2% of your health back every 5 seconds. Overall, I feel like that's pretty good. Otherwise, you just don't regen any health at all. I feel like that overall adds a new mechanic to the game, which no one else would really have. No other race has health regen, I don't think. So I feel like that is a pretty welcome thing, you don't have to use any healing potions. You can just have a snooze for about 2 hours, and then you'll be at full health again. And then you also have the Rotten, which is minus 25% max health. So you sort of just throw out the Mutated Genes. That's kind of useless now, but anyways. And then you also have a 15% chance to convert incoming damage to health. I mean, that's pretty good. I feel like I'm gonna put bro in the C tier, but I am hovering between B and C because it is a new mechanic, Looky here, we have the Goblin. Oh mate, what do I do with you, hey? Now the Goblin does actually have a 15% movement speed and 10% dagger attack speed. I don't know anyone in the game that is ever using a dagger. I mean, I'm sure there's maybe 2 people that are using it, besides the people that start the game and have to make a dagger and all that. I don't think a lot of people are using a dagger. And then on top of that, you have a minus 15% health and then a minus 15% size. Now I will say, back onto that topic, height isn't everything. Some people might be tall, some people might be short. That's all right. You can't control your height or anything unless you do a surgery or something. But anyways, let me get back on topic. So I feel like the minus 15% size is actually really good for combat, because that means they can hit you less, and then you can also hit them a bit more. And the minus 15% health is kind of bad overall. There's not really much to say about that. But then there is one other perk that I haven't mentioned that is low-key really good, and that is a 12% discount when shopping. So if you're buying potions or you're buying pickaxes, you actually have a 12% discount on that. So I feel like that's actually pretty good. I mean, nothing else offers that or comes close to that. I'm just gonna say this, alright? I might be cooked, but I'm putting bro in B tier. I mean, I can't argue with that. That is a discount, if you've already got really good classes in the game and you have a 3rd slot, just chuck in the Goblin, mate. And then you can get a discount on the demon pickaxe or whatever it's called, the one that costs 400k in game. Mate, that would be discounted at least over $40,000, alright? That's pretty good, okay? Anyways, let's talk about this guy straight from Minecraft. We got bro who who is a literal skeleton. Now, the Undead is pretty interesting. So you get a refill of 50% HP when you drop below 10% HP, and that is a 5-minute cooldown. So, I mean, look, that's pretty cool and all, but then again, if you're below 10% health, I mean, you're usually already dead. It depends. Like, if you have really solid armor and you can somehow get below 10% health, I mean, like, it's cool, but then again, it's on a 5-minute cooldown as well, you know? Like, I guess it's a nice thing to have, right? If you're like, you're going throughout the game and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna die, and then bam, you know, you got half your health back. Like, I mean, that's pretty cool. But then sometimes you're just gonna immediately die and be like, oh mate, I hate this. Why am I playing as this discount skeleton from Minecraft? So I guess that's something to consider. And then you also have fragile bones. That is a minus 12% health, which is already like pretty bad. That means that your chance of getting that 10% like, you know, health regen is sort of cooked. And then you also have a guaranteed chance to reflect 10% of incoming damage. I mean, I don't know. That's like, if you just play the game long enough, you can get that effect on your armor. So I feel like it's kind of just bad. So I feel like I'm going to put bro in the S tier. Nah, just kidding, mate. I'm putting him in C tier. Okay, now we have the orc. I mean, the orc is pretty cool. I mean, I have nothing to really say about him. I mean, he's sort of like a combat focused race. So, you know, like sort of like the demon. So for the perks, you have muscular, which is a 10% physical damage increase. And then you have 15% health and 10% size. Now, I will just say size isn't the best thing. And then you also have heavy, which is minus 10% stamina and then minus 10% movement speed. Now, I'm just going to put bro in like, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing to really say about this. There's no like different mechanic or anything. I'm going to put bro in like, I don't know, man. We'll put you in, I'm going to put bro in B tier. Yeah. We'll put bro in B tier, okay? Now, who is this little critter, hey? Look at him, bro. He's so tiny. Now, this is the dwarf. Now, the dwarf is pretty solid for mining. So if you'd like to do a lot of mining and all that, you know, the dwarf appears to be a solid choice. But let's get into the perks, all right? So for the dwarf, you have a 15% mining increase and 5% forging. So, you know, if you do make a few mistakes on the forging, it is a little bit more forgiving. Now, I don't know if it adds like a flat 5% on top of the forging quality, or I don't know if it like adds like an average or like 5%. I don't really know, okay? But overall, I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. And then you also have critical mining, and this adds the ability to basically do critical attacks on rocks, which is actually pretty cool. The chance is a 20% chance, and you do 50% extra damage to rocks. So yeah, if you hit that 20%, you do an extra 50%. Not bad, not bad. And then you also have minus 20% height and then minus 5% movement speed. Now, the height isn't really a problem. I feel like that's beneficial, you know? I'm not projecting or anything. I feel like game mechanic wise, being like smaller would be better. And then the minus 5 movement speed, I mean, that's just sort of bad overall, but you know, it's all right, it's all right. I'm honestly gonna put bro in the A tier. I feel like a lot of the game is like mining and crafting, so I feel like A tier would be pretty good. Okay, now we have the shadow. Oh my. Okay, the shadow was my main character's race for a little bit. So for this fella, you have a 15% chance to transform into a shadow and dodge an attack. Now, I've actually never seen that 15% happen. Like, I've never seen the change into a shadow. I mean, you're sort of just a shadow to begin with, so I don't really know about that. But then again, if you have a 15% chance to dodge an attack, that's, you know, that's pretty good. And then on top of that, you have a shadow pact, which is a 10% attack speed, 15% movement speed, plus 5% physical damage, plus 10% stamina, and then you have minus 10% health. Overall, honestly, that's pretty good. I'm going to put bro in B tier. Now we are starting to hit the big leagues, all right? We've got these guys left over. We got Minotaur. We got Red Bro over here. What's his name? We got Dragonborn. We got Golem. We got Angel. And then we got the Demon. Oh, boy. Okay, so we're doing Minotaur now. So the Minotaur is known as like a tanky class. So for the perks, you have going below 50% HP triggers Rage mode, which gives you a 30% speed and 30% physical damage. Now, I'm pretty sure there is actually a rune that does that as well, but still, pretty cool. And then you also have the perk Beast, which gives you plus 10% height, which honestly is kind of a downgrade, plus 20% health, minus 10% stamina, minus 10% movement speed, plus 20% width and depth. I don't know, man. I feel like that's kind of bad. I don't know, you know? The thing is, if you're a bigger target, that means they can land more hits on you. And then overall, I feel like the rage mode is just something you can achieve from like playing the game. Like, there's no real unique mechanic there. I'm honestly, look, this might be criminal, but I'm gonna put bro in C tier. Like, I don't know. It's sort of just not that good. I mean, the 20% extra health is cool, but it doesn't really outweigh the fact that like everything else about you is just terrible. Okay, now we have the Dragonborn. straight from the Skyrim game. Now, this guy is a little bit cooler, I feel like. So you do 12% extra physical damage, which is good for people who like to kill a lot of enemies. And then you also have a 40% chance to burn enemies for 30% damage per second for 3 seconds. So yeah, that's another mechanic that you can also just achieve through runes, but still. And then you also have the durable scales, so plus 20% max health and 10% height. This is sort of like a discount Minotaur, but then again, I feel like you get a little bit more out of it. Now, I'm really indecisive. I don't know. I'm feeling like a B or a C tier. Or I don't know. I wish there was like another one in the middle, but then again, I'd put like everything in there as well. Okay. I don't know. We'll leave bro at C tier. We can do a few adjustments later. Now we have the Golem. The Iron Golem straight from Minecraft as well. Wowee. Now for this guy, you have the heavy hitter perk. So you do plus 15% attack speed for heavy weapons, which is actually pretty nice. I feel like attack speed on heavy weapons is good. And then you have plus 30% health and size, minus 10% movement speed. And then you have a stone heart, which is a 50% chance to reduce incoming damage by 25%. Now, honestly, I feel like this is just another Minotaur, just like another reskin basically. But you do get like attack speed on heavy weapons, which I don't think anything else is offered. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna say we'll put bro in C tier for now. Okay, now we have got the final two, mate. Now for these two, I'm not gonna read out all their perks because I mean, you know that they're good, alright? Like if you're watching this video, you probably have an understanding of these two and you have an idea of like how good they are and all that. So obviously we put Angel in S tier. I mean, Angel is a good all-rounder, really good for mining especially, not really combat orientated like the Demon, but still, you know, overall a very good choice. And now you have the Demon, which is a very combat orientated race. So, you know, like when you do your dash, you have that little like thing on the floor that like burns enemies and all that. You have a different dash and everything. So, you know, overall it's just a good race to have. So I feel like, you know, we put it in S tier. I feel like it's actually, you know, deserving of the S tier. And considering how rare it is and everything, you know, it's good. It's good. Okay, now we are going to go back. I feel like I have to rearrange a few of these a little bit, okay? Okay, for this one, I am going to, I don't know what to do about the Goblin. I don't know what to do. I feel like the Goblin is sort of unique, you know? It deserves the A rank, all right? And then let's see, what else have we got? I mean, the Shadow is sort of, yeah, Shadow's fine, I guess. I think for the Undead, I'm going to put Bro down here. Undead is just terrible, like straight up. I feel like you're never going to trigger that 50% health to like regen and all that. So I think that's a pretty good choice having the Undead in D tier. And then Dragonborn, I might honestly, I'm going to put Dragonborn in B. Yeah, I feel like I was a bit too harsh on Dragonborn. Overall, you just have really good things about the Dragonborn. You know, you're a bit bigger and all that, but like still, you know, very solid race and everything. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, yeah, this looks right to me. I'm curious what you guys think. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the tier list. I mean, they will be adding more races and everything, so who knows, I might do an updated version. Now, let me know, what would you choose for like the tier list, all right? Because, you know, S tier is meant to be the best of the best, okay? Then you got A, which is like, you know, pretty solid. And then you got B as well, which is like, you know, yeah, it's all right. And then you have like C, which is like, it can be all right. And then D is just sort of like bad overall. So, I mean, let me know what you would choose for this. I mean, I feel like my choices are all right. I mean, as I said, they're backed by science, you know, they did a whole study on my brain and everything. So yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think. Also, by the way, the Poopite video will be coming out very soon. Do not worry. But anyways, have a good day. Alrighty, see ya.